Garbage show tonight. Garbage, complete garbage tonight. Name my topic tonight is called Chaos and Cluster in Chicago. And the chaos and cluster in Chicago tonight. With 15 days until WrestleMania 40, and chaos and cluster in Chicago. With 15 days until WrestleMania 41, are they still in big trouble? So much I say tonight. Before I do, I'm gonna open up the show a little bit of music tonight. It's this number one hit single from 1995 by TLC, Red Light Special. So stick around. Be right back. Break it all down. I'll be right back. Yep. Oh, you heard that little jingle? That was name of the song you just heard is Red Light Special by TLC. Number one single from 1995. Let's get down to business. How terrible the show was tonight. Okay. Then now together for intro opens. WWE Smackdown kicks off with an aerial shot of the city of Chicago, Windy City, and a shot of the Legion Stadium inside of WrestleMania 41. Live in the arena, a loud CM Punk chant erupts as we cut to shots of Braun Strowman and the Bloodline entering the arena. That leads us to LA Knight entering the arena with his United States Championship. DIY and Morrissey Machine Guns are also shown entering for the show. B-Fab and Naomi are on the screen next. Are next on the screen. Back in the arena, and now we see the segment between CM Punk and Paul Heyman. Back in the arena, we cut to Ray and Joe, who welcome everyone to the show. And we cut to highlight last week's main event contract signing involving CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins. Back and live in the arena, a loud CM Punk chant as we hear "Cult of Personality." Out comes CM Punk, who takes it all and hugs the fans in attendance. He stands on the barricade to celebrate with the fans, and he gets in the ring. He stands in the ring with the fans chanting his name, and he begins telling them he doesn't know where to begin. They told him that the best television audience were overseas, and they're back. Finally, they're back in the United States, WWE. Punk says that he says he knows that they were coming to Chicago, and that gets an ovation from the crowd. Punk grabs the camera from Rico, the cameraman. He begins shooting. The crowd and the loud CM Punk chant tells them that's why they don't listen to outside voices. He says a little fact is that he is not supposed to be here, but he was born in Silver Cross Hospital with a cord around his neck. He's worn blue, and they had to bring him back to life. And every time he comes out, no matter the city aims to make new fans, but to excuse him tonight because he is aimed to thank the 16,000 in attendance tonight. Punk says that when they tell him that he's not supposed to be here, he asks, who is he going to get him to leave? Yet he says nothing has changed, but he is in the main event of WrestleMania. A loud "You deserve" chant from the crowd. Punk says, yeah, you deserve it. You deserve it. Punk asks if he deserves it. Punk says he has earned it. He studied in the backyards of Chicago. He signed a contract with the WWE, and he said he wasn't supposed to be here. He says he's earned it. He studied the backyards of Chicago. He trained and signed a contract with the WWE, and they said he wasn't supposed to be here. To him, that's when he had worked. They are hard worked, and began. He appreciates the people congratulating him. He says now the hard work begins. He is a product of Chicago. He has to thank everyone, and he thanks his wife April. AJ Lee chant from the crowd. We know AJ. God did crazy chicks, like he said. He smiles and goes on to thank his dog Larry. I guess the Larry chant. And he says there are too many people to thank. He will not be who he is or where he is at without this city. He thanks them and says now now the hard work begins to because he has a date with WrestleMania, and he promised that he was going to whip Seth's ass. He was going to put a beating on Tribal Chief Roman Reigns at main event at WrestleMania. We hear Paul Heyman saying, "Ladies and gentlemen," he walks down to the ring and introducing himself. He apologizes for being late and he calls CM Punk his best friend in the world. The best in the world. Heyman gets in the ring. The fans chant ECW. He asks what your wise man can do for you. He tells Punk that he belongs here in the ring in Chicago in the main event of WrestleMania. Heyman says this was the last time they were staying in the ring. The bloodline was breathing down his neck. And the next week, they put him through the table. After that, CM Punk had a Hell in a Cell match with Drew McIntyre, and Punk was compromising, never coming back. But Heyman pleaded with him told him he needs someone at War Games for Roman Reigns and to do him a favor. And Punk did that and saved him. The match and the bloodline. Heyman thanks him and he tells him that he has one more favor to ask him of him. Punk is surprised and he asks him what it is. Tells Punk to tell him what the favor he owes him because Roman will be here, and he is already pissed off and he doesn't know what happens when Roman gets angry. Punk asks him if Roman is not there, and Heyman says not yet. Punk says as much as he thinks the favor is none of Roman's business, it will affect him, and that's why he'll tell Roman what the favor is when Roman arrives, when you tell him both. Punk drops the microphone and leaves the ring with his song playing. A video package for Rey Fenix airs. Then we go to commercial break. Nathan Frazer, one half of the NXT Tag Team Champions, is in the ring for his match. Lights go out and out comes Rey Fenix, flashing the lights, and pyro goes off behind him. Wade mentions how Rey is Penta's brother. Rey Fenix versus Nathan Frazer. Bell rings and we're underway. Frazer with an armbar, but Rey with an acrobat reversal. With Phoenix with a spinning kick in the side and kick into to the side of the head. He goes for the cover, but Frazer kicks out. Phoenix with a Hurricanrana Hurricane cover, but Frazer kicks out. A fast pace to start the match. Phoenix grabs Frazer, but Frazer throws him to the outside of the ring. Frazer goes for a suicide dive, but gets his foot caught on the rope and Rey catches him. Rey climbs to the top rope, but with a spinning corkscrew onto Frazer. Back from commercial break. Back from commercial, Phoenix pushes Nathan off the rope. Up the debut of Rey Fenix on WWE. Phoenix pushes Nathan off the top rope, but Nathan lands on his feet and jumps back on the top rope, landing a suplex. He gets back up with a net breaker. Nathan goes for cover, but Phoenix kicks out. A "Let's Go Phoenix" chant from the crowd is heard. Let's go Phoenix. Let's go Phoenix. Nathan climbs to the top rope, goes for the Phoenix splash, but Phoenix moves out of the way. Both men are on their feet, and Nathan with a knee to the face. He goes for a suplex. Phoenix lands on his feet and lands a drop kick. Nathan leaves on the top rope. Phoenix climbs to the top rope, walks across and kicks him in the face in the goodbye amigo kick. Phoenix delivers a fire driver. He goes for a cover, but Nathan kicks out. He grabs Nathan, but Nathan with a kick to the side of the head. Both men get back up, and Rey with a super kick, and he places Nathan on the top rope. Brady with a Mexican muscle buster. He goes for a cover and gets to the pin. Winner Rey Fenix. Brian Sexton gets in the ring after the match. He interviews Ray after the match. Ray speaks in Spanish, thanking Chicago. He says he has a lot of history in Chicago with everyone. Tonight is not the debut of Ray Phoenix. Tonight is so much more. Tonight he is a roar with passion, love, passion with rage. He waited his whole life to say this. I am WWE Animal. We cut to Legado del Fantasma, and Santos Escobar tells them that it is a great debut and the kind of performance he expects from Angel and Berto. They look at him in disagreement. Escobar tells them that he likes their fire and says he will speak to Nick Aldis to have a match. Ray Phoenix against Berto, and Santos walks away. Then go to commercial break. A video of Drew McIntyre airs. He's wearing an eye patch talking about Damian Priest, and no one cares about him unless he is feeding off Drew's scraps. He asks Damian to explain to him why he is wrong to fight him like a man, but Damian did what he always does. He attacked like a vulture. He put him through a windshield. He can live through his back hurting while across the Atlantic. He needs to pray, and when Drew prays, bad things happen. Byron Saxton is backstage with Braun Strowman, and Strowman says he has had enough of Jacob Fatu getting involved in his business. Tonight he will keep him down to go to WrestleMania and compete to complete his Grand Slam. In comes Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga. In comes LA Knight, who tells Braun not to waste his time with Solo, and for Braun to keep his eyes on the prize. Solo tells him he has a lot of balls to speak to him like that. Tama Tonga tells LA Knight he should be worried about him tonight, and LA Knight tells him he will make a lot of noise tonight because he will be stopping him. LA Knight begins to walk to the ring with his music playing. Then go to a little commercial break. LA Knight versus Tama Tonga with Solo Sikoa. The bell rings and we're underway. LA Knight with right hands, and he throws Tama Tonga to the ropes, hitting him with an elbow to the face. LA Knight with suplex and grabs Tonga, but Tonga trips him up, and LA falls on face first onto the turnbuckle. Tonga with a backdrop and goes for the cover, but LA Knight kicks out. Tama Tonga to the ropes, and LA Knight with a big boot, and he throws Tonga into the corner. He stomps on him in the corner and lands on a running knee to the face, and Tama Tonga rolls to the outside of the ring. LA Knight with a modified baseball slide takes Tonga down. He slams Tama's face onto the announce table, back into the ring. LA Knight gets in the ring apron, and so does Solo, which distracts LA Knight. Tama Tonga pushes LA Knight off the ring apron, and he lands face first onto the announce table. Back from commercial, LA Knight with a shoulder tackle into the middle of the ring, followed by a sunset slip covered by Tama Tonga. But Tama Tonga kicks out. Tama gets back up and hits LA Knight with a clothesline. Tama with a suplex and goes for the cover, but LA Knight kicks out. Tama Tonga climbs to the second rope and goes for the elbow drop, but LA Knight moves out of the way. Both men on their feet, and LA Knight with the right hands, he ends it with a clothesline, a net breaker, but LA Knight followed by a power slam. He runs to the ropes and lands on a jumping elbow drop. Goes for the BFT, but Tama pushes him to the ropes, and Tama distracts the referee. Referee Solo gets on the ring apron. LA Knight pushes him down. Tama grabs LA Knight, but LA Knight lands BFT. He goes for the cover and gets the pin. Winner LA Knight. We cut back and Paul Heyman is standing on the ring at the ring entrance, and in comes Brian Sexton. Heyman begins to speak, but Brian stops. He grabs the camera and says that no matter what the favor is, his answer is yes. As he is speaking, the car is shown arriving to the arena. He tells CM Punk, anything you want, the answer is yes. Heyman yells, my tribal chief, you have arrived in Chicago. But out comes Seth Rollins. He tells Heyman to cheer up, and that was probably expecting the other Shield guy. He tells Heyman he looks awful. He says he has had a great week. Once he got away from this CM Punk stuff, he was able to gain some perspective and formulate a plan. He tells Heyman that this favor thing is he really dug himself into a hole, but it affects him too, and that when Roman does arrive, to let him know because he wants to be the present to hear what the favor is too, and he walks away. Back at ringside, Charlotte Flair's music hits and out she comes. Commercial break. Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair. Out comes Tiffany Stratton with Wade Barrett and Charlotte in the ring. Wade introduces the Smackdown Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton and their WrestleMania opponent, 2025 Royal Rumble winner Charlotte Flair. Tiffany asks the fans what time it is, and the fans yell Tiffy time, and who really gives a shit. Wade asks Charlotte why she chose Tiffany for WrestleMania, and if she thinks this is a wise choice. Flair says Tiffany was begging, and there she was. The fans boo Flair as she continues her promo. She says she says she did the right choice because she wanted to make the smartest wrestling fans in the world in here in Chicago. That there is no comparison. Stratton asks her if she is done. She tells Flair that her biggest competitor has been the fans, and no matter what, that is a battle Flair will never win. She pretends to like nothing but bothers her, but she goes crying on some boo hoo hoo talk show, and all she can break the records. But when it's all said and done, she will become second to her father, Ric Flair. And at WrestleMania, she will become second to her. Charlotte begins to speak, but the fans cut her off, and Stratton says that is power. Flair tells him to hold on. She tells Stratton she just repeated what her opponents of the last 10 years have said, and she talks. The boos get louder and louder, and Flair stops talking. Flair begins to speak again, and the fans boo. Tiffany asks her if the cat has got her tongue, and Flair asks the fans what they can do, what they will do, like for her to say. And Flair tells Tiffany she can have the last word. Tiffany tells her that at 25 years old, she was trying to be a volleyball player, drinking in her daddy's basement, and at 25 years old, she is walking to WrestleMania as the SmackDown Women's Champion. Flair says this is just another match, but it looks like Tiffany got a WrestleMania record and maybe 4-3 outside the ring. She isn't the queen of shit. Tiffany calls her a nympho baby, and Flair says she's a nympho queen. Tiffany tells her when she beats her at WrestleMania, she will be just like she's outside the ring, alone. Flair's record is 0-3, and she throws her microphone and leaves her in the ring. Flair asks her if that's why Kaiser is in the ring, DMs, and Tiffany leaves her in the ring with her title in the air. Women's Gauntlet match announcement. We cut to Whitney Aldis, who is backstage and says he's in conjunction with Adam Pearce. There will be a women's tag team gauntlet match. Winners will face Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez at WrestleMania. Wow. Number 1 contenders match: Motion Machine Guns versus DIY. The Street Profits are at ringside for their match. The bell rings and we're on the way. Sabin and Gargano start the match. Sabin with an arm drag. Ciampa is tagged in. Sabin with an arm drag and Alex is tagged in. Climbs to the second rope and lands on double X onto Ciampa. They throw Ciampa in the ropes and take him down with a shoulder tackle, and then out comes Gargano and Motion Machine Guns and clotheslines them both. Alex gets in on Ciampa in the corner and hits him with the right hands and clotheslines Ciampa and back in the ring. Alex chases Ciampa out of the ring and out around the ring and back into the ring. Gargano is tagged in and he lands on a slingshot spear onto Alex. And as Alex gets into the ring, then we go to commercial break. Sabin with a crossbody onto DIY and both men are down. DIY are down on the outside, and Sabin with a suicide dive throw the legs of Alex. Saban tags in Alex in, and they get to Ciampa into the ring and hit him with a double super kick. Saban is tagged in and climbs to the top rope, but Gargano trips him with the referee distracted. The turnbuckle is exposed, and Ciampa with a knee to the face. He lifts Saban and kicks out, but Gargano is tagged in. And he hits Saban with a super kick. He goes for the cover, but Alex breaks it up. Ciampa throws Alex to the outside of the ring, and Ciampa is tagged in. They go for a meeting in the middle. Saban moves out of the way, and he pushes Ciampa onto Gargano. In comes Alex, and they double team Ciampa, and Alex climbs to the top rope. Gargano throws him off the top rope. Saban pushes Gargano off the ring apron, and Ciampa goes for a cover and puts his feet on the ropes for leverage. The referee sees it and breaks up the count. Ciampa runs towards Saban, but Saban moves out of the way. And Ciampa hits the exposed turnbuckle. He goes for the cover and gets the pin. Winners and number one contenders, the Motion Machine Guns. After the match, the Motion Machine Guns are face to face with the tag team champions, the Street Profits. We cut to the Miz and Carmelo Hayes backstage as they stop in front of Pretty Deadly. Miz calls them pretty useless. That's true. Hayes asks them if they are a tag team with the Chicago Bears. Pretty Deadly says they have jokes. Marine 3, Marine 4, and the Marine 5. Miz says at least the Marine was made. Asked him John Cena did the movie, by the way. And turns out to be a piece of crap. The Marine was made and asked them how their musical is. Pretty Deadly says they just finished one about someone who has not been relevant in 10 years. They begin to argue, and they ask Hayes when he is happy to be regulated to being the Miz. Hayes tells them that Pretty Deadly couldn't beat them on their best day. Then go to commercial break. B-Fab versus Naomi. With B-Fab in the ring, out comes Naomi for the match, but she's attacked by Jade Cargill from behind. Out comes WWE security who stop Cargill, but Naomi gets in the ring. The referee rings the bell, but B-Fab with a clothesline followed by a right hand, a spinning kick by B-Fab followed by a big boot. She goes for cover, but Naomi kicks out. B-Fab with a slam, and she goes for the cover, but Naomi kicks out. She goes for a spinning kick, but Naomi moves out of the way. And B-Fab's foot strung up on the top rope, and Naomi gets in her tree of woe and slams her head into the turnbuckle. Naomi pulls B-Fab's face into her knee, modified a kneeling lung blower. She goes for cover and gets the pin. Winner, Naomi. She grabs the microphone after the match and asks Jade she grabs her and asks after match and asks Jade where she is, and I said to myself, yes, thank God she's gonna ask her for a challenge for a match at WrestleMania. She's still standing. She turns around and Jade gets in the ring. Oh wait, hold on. Oh wait, now I'm gonna grab the microphone. What am I saying? Focus, Jade. Yeah, Jade grabs the microphone. She grabs the microphone after match. She asks Jade where she is at because she's still standing. She turns around and Jade gets in the ring, hitting her with a big boot. She grabs Naomi, but in comes security to break it up. Jade throws the security out of the ring. Out comes Nick Aldis, who says he has had enough of this, and there is only one solution. Aldis makes the match for WrestleMania for both women, and both women smile and are happy about it. Yeah, thank God. I really wanted Jade Cargill to come out and ask Naomi for a match at WrestleMania, but Nick Aldis made it. Thank God. Damian Priest is promo shown. A video of Damian Priest airs. He tells Drew that he did his job by cashing in his Money in the Bank at WrestleMania, and Drew screwed himself. At Clash of the Castle, it should have been them, but his obsession with Punk came back and cost him the Money in the Bank. At Money in the Bank, he tried to cash in, but his baggage cost him. He tells Drew that at the Royal Rumble in Chamber, he eliminated him, but both men are after that. Drew attacked him like a coward. He calls Drew a hypocrite because he bitches and complains. He tells Drew he is a junkie and gets off on a high by making jokes every week. He tells Drew that he is a villain. It's time to it's his villain. It's time to pray now. It's time to pray. It's time to his pray. It's time. It's his time to pray now. To look him in the middle, in the ring, to face in the eye to eye, because he wants Drew to stop playing the victim and become his victim at WrestleMania. And we cut to Kevin Owens walking backstage, and he is walking towards the ring. And go to commercial break. Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. Nick Aldis is in the ring, middle, and he says this is the part of his job that's not very fun. In this industry, there's a fine line between coming back next week, finding out you may never step foot in the ring again. Is a cliche. There's a reason they could never try this at home. He doesn't want to say much more, and he would rather we hear from the man himself. He introduced Kevin Owens in the ring. Out comes Kevin Owens wearing a Bret Hart jacket, and he says, looks dejected. He says he has been doing this for 25 years, and he thinks that he is confidently say that for 25 years he gave everything he had, and because of this industry, he has been able to take care of his family in ways he can dream of. There is a price to pay for that amazing opportunity, and that toll takes place on their bodies. Every guy and girl in the back has paid that price, and now it seems like it's his turn, because for the last 4 months he's been dealing with a pretty serious neck injury, and that is what he'll do. And timing could not be worse, and not getting to be in the ring with Randy Orton at WrestleMania really sucks. He says he is really thankful for WWE to allow him to come out and say all because of this. The truth is that he does not know one to be in front of the fans again. Owen says what he doesn't know over the last few years. He has learned not to take anything for granted. He will never take this for granted. The fans begin to clap, and he says, for now, he wants to thank you, and he says he is sorry and thank you. Okay, it's 12 a.m. right now. It's midnight. And anyway, the music hits. Owen walks down and he looks confused. Owens is standing on the ring apron, and Orton walks up to the ring steps and into the ring apron. Both men talk to each other. Owens leaves the ring and Orton gets in the ring. Owens stops at a fan who apparently says something to him, but the camera cuts to Orton, who was in the ring. The fans chant Randy, and Aldis tells him that he hates to be the one to tell them that he means no longer He means no longer to a match at WrestleMania 41. And that pissed Orton off. Orton hits all with an arcade on his music hits and he looks at a WrestleMania sign. Kevin Owens must have got to him. Got to you, didn't you, Nick? You know, I don't blame Orton for what he did. Last night. Now, go to a little commercial. Yeah, Randy Orton deserves to be in this match for WrestleMania. He wants Kevin Owens and wants revenge. And go to commercial break. Last man standing, number one contender for the U.S. title. Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman. As Strowman is walking down to the ring, Jacob Fatu runs down, and the bell rings. Strowman with right hands, and he throws Jacob Fatu in the ring. Strowman gets in the ring, gets in, but Jacob Fatu with a super kick. Jacob Fatu climbs the second rope, but Fatu trips him up. He grabs Jacob Fatu, but Fatu lands on his feet and hits him with a super kick followed by a spinning elbow. Fatu jump up on the moonsault, and he lands on another one to the referee and begins to the 10 count. The referee counts to 7, but Strowman falls to the outside of the ring and lands on his feet. Strowman, back from the commercial, Strowman grabs the table from the ring, and Strowman slides into the ring and hits Jacob Fatu with a right hand. Strowman leans the table to one of the corners, and Jacob Fatu hits him with a super kick. Fatu returns back and runs towards Strowman, but Strowman hits him with a big boot. Strowman runs towards Fatu, but lowers the top of the rope. Strowman falls to the outside, landing on his feet. Fatu lands on a suicide dive onto Strowman. And Strowman flies to the announce table, both men back up, and Fatu throws him in the face first into his ring post. Fatu runs towards Strowman, but Strowman hits him with steals his chair to the head, and the referee begins to 10 count, but Fatu gets back up. Strowman with a Strowman Express through the barricade, and both men are down. The referee begins the 10 count, and both men are up at 9. Back from the commercial, both men are fighting in the arena between the fans. They are standing on top of the crepe, and Strowman suplexes Fatu through the table onto concrete. The fans begin again 10 count, but both men are up at the count of 9. They walk towards the ringside, and Strowman is limping on his left leg. Strowman gets back into the ring and does Fatu. Strowman gets his Fatu with a running hip attack through the table. The referee begins a 10 count, and Fatu gets up at 9 with Strowman down. It was Strowman down. Strowman down. Yeah. Winner, last man standing, Jacob Fatu. Shit, that's really shitting on Strowman. They shit on Strowman last night. You go to commercial break. Cody Rhodes is in John Cena's segment from Raw. It was aired in the highlight package. We cut back to the garage. Cut to the garage, and we see Paul Heyman standing. In comes Ryan Saxton when Roman Reigns is going to arrive, and Heyman tells him any minute, and Brian walks away. Back from commercial break. Back from the commercial, a black SUV pulls into the arena. Out steps an angry Roman Reigns, and he walks past Paul Heyman Roman continues his walk towards the ring with Heyman behind him. Roman does not use his usual entrance, and he keeps walking towards the ring. He extends his hand as Strowman gives him a microphone. He walks around the ring with the fans chanting OTC, and Roman tells Chicago to acknowledge him, and they do. Strowman asks Heyman, is he here? And he responds with he is. Allows CM Punk chant from the crowd. Roman says that is exactly who he is talking about, and asks Heyman if Punk is talking about the favor. Heyman tells him he is, and Roman tells Chicago that he doesn't know how he deal with them, and asks Heyman if he should share a secret with Chicago, and Heyman tells him yes. Roman says that CM Punk will not be back if it wasn't for him. He would not be in the main event of WrestleMania if it wasn't for him, and he gets it. They are good people. He is in the same city as them. They do not have to like him. They will, but they are not that smart. Roman says Punk has wrestled everyone, but he has never been in that main event of WrestleMania until he was introduced to the tribal chief. The fans chant OTC, OTC. Roman looks at the camera and tells Punk that you hear the fans chanting for OTC in his own city. He asks Punk to come out and tell him what the favor is. Seth's music hits, and out comes Seth Rollins with Heyman shaking his head. Seth gets in the ring with the fans singing his song. He introduces himself and he tells Roman that he will not miss this one for the world. He says he does not know what the favor is, but in reality, that he is feeling the reality and will knock Roman's socks off. Unlike everyone, Roman does not like to live in the real world, but Roman steps outside, and his little universe really backs him in the ass. He tells Roman that he does not want to do a little history lesson, but example A, heist of the century. Example B, the main event of WrestleMania last year. He tells Roman that the reality that is Roman underestimates CM Punk. He thinks he is above Punk. That if he ignores him, he will go away. But he tried that and it doesn't work. Punk is in the main event of WrestleMania. That's the reality he has to live with. He could have stopped it at War Games, but he didn't. He could have stopped it at the Garden, but he didn't. Seth tells Roman that he is in a much better place this week than he was last week, and in reality gives him two options: either you suffer and get left behind you, or you will adapt and you will control reality. He tells him that the reality is that Seth is untrustworthy. He can say the word loyalty, but Seth has no clue what that means. CM Punk stands there because Roman made a promise to the wise man, and he keeps his word. And in reality, he didn't call Seth out here. He called Punk out there. Fans chant Roman reigns. He tells Roman that he is out here to hear CM Punk, and Seth says there is only one thing missing. And he looks at the entrance. The fans chant CM Punk, and Seth says no, to find out what the favor is. Punk's music hits, and out he comes. Punk gets in the ring and says, the favor? What favor? Punk says this is about friendship, about legacy, and promises made and promises kept. This is about loyalty. Punk says this goes back to Louisville, Kentucky, and they tell Heyman that he does not belong in the fire and to fire him, but Heyman says no. He tells Roman that his wise man is wise beyond his years. He says Heyman spoke about it years ago on Raw. He says on the Big Show's bus himself, Heyman, Big Show, Heyman and Big Show, and RVD spoke about themselves. Punk said they are going to fire him, and he told Heyman not to leave, and Heyman told him he will be fine. And then when Punk main events WrestleMania forced him to deal with us, Punk tells Roman they are not here anymore, and force him out of his comfort zone, and he will deal. He will force him to deal with us. CM Punk tells Roman that at WrestleMania, in the main event, in his corner, his wise man, his best friend, Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman. Seth laughs and Roman looks confused. Roman says that favor, and he laughs. He tells Punk that Heyman loves him and he needs him. He saved Heyman even if he lets him. Heyman wouldn't. Roman laughs and he tells Heyman to let this desperate fool down easy. Heyman looks at Roman and the fans chant CM Punk. Roman looks at Heyman and and Roman has tears in his eyes. Roman tells Heyman that they better tell Punk no. Roman tells Heyman that he took him in. He made he made him relevant to tell him no. Roman tells Heyman that he will give him one more opportunity to tell him no. Heyman looks down and says, Roman says, no, not my tribal chief, I can't do that. Seth is laughing, and Roman grabs Heyman in the corner. Punk hits Roman from behind, hits him with a GTS. He and Seth stare at each other, with Heyman yelling from the ring apron. Seth leaves the ring, and Punk is standing with his microphone, with his music playing as Smackdown goes off the air. Garbage last night. Complete garbage. Hold on a second, right back. Okay, I'm back. Terrible show last night, man. Just terrible. Well, I can say, 19 days going to WrestleMania, would they be in trouble? I bet you they will. I bet you they'll be in plenty of big trouble. I bet you they're in deep shit right now. Triple H. Buying team doesn't know what they're doing. Just like AEW. Trust me, they don't know what they were doing last night. It's just garbage. Complete garbage. And I bet you somehow everybody knows Cena won't retire. We all know he'll take that title from Cody, and somehow we all know he's kissing the Rock at. I find it funny that Cena got rock bottom by Rock last year at WrestleMania 40. Now he's the Rock's boy. We all know him. They're going to form a little heel stable's going to form with him, the Rock, and the Rock, and Travis Scott. And then somehow they're going to make him more like a celebrity heel and something like that, like Andy Kaufman. Trust me, this WrestleMania won't be good. Just trust me, this WWE is really in trouble. I'm telling you. Now I got that situated. Now I'm going to know all you know what it's time for. It's time for it's time for Justin's Talent History, all the wrestling birthdays and all the pop culture. And all you hear that thing is a team from Back to the Future starring Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd. Can't wait for its 40th anniversary on July 3rd, 2025, because the movie released July 3rd, 1985. Cannot wait. Let's go to May the 3rd. Thursday's wrestling history. Okay, April 3rd, 1985. We lost a very tragic. We lost some little wrestler named Jack Vance. He was wrestling in AEW and CWF. He was born in Pittsfield, Massachusetts. It's unknown what he died of. Okay. April 3rd, last Thursday would have been a happy 69th birthday to Ray Combs. Some of you know from WWE. Some of you want to know. Some of you want to know. He died of committed suicide. In Hamilton, Ontario. Hamilton. He was born in Hamilton, Ohio. Died on July 2nd, 1996. He was a game show host of Family Feud, and he was a celebrity guest at Survivor Series '93. Very sad passing. Okay, Jenny Garth from 90210, sexy star of next sexy babe from 902 Beverly Hills 90210. She turned 53 last Thursday. Tasha Steelz from AEW and Ring of Honor. No, no, from Ring of Honor and TNA. She turned 27 last Thursday. Now let's go to the wrestling history. Okay, on Monday Night Raw, the night after WrestleMania 11, the night after WrestleMania 11, Hakushi with Senja defeated Bob Holly. With the 1-2-3 Kid, the Allied Powers, Lex Luger and British Ball Davey Boy Smith defeated Well Done with Harry Whippleman. Alundra Blaze defeated Bull Nakano to win the Intercontinental Championship. And there's a mysterious woman attack. The mysterious woman attacked Alundra Blaze, and it's none other than Bertha Faye, the late Bertha Faye. Yeah, we all know that. Man on a Mission, King Sarah Mabel defeated Ben Jordan in turn around in there during their heel run. And Vince McMahon interviews Shawn Michaels with his bodyguard Psycho Sid. And Diesel's Vince McMahon interviewed Diesel, asked him that he'll give Shawn Michaels a rematch for the WWE title. And he asked him that Psycho Sid is using him. And then that night, then the same night, Vince McMahon interviews Shawn Michaels. Yeah, this was after WrestleMania 11. We interviewed Shawn Michaels and with his bodyguard Psycho Sid. And then and Shawn Michaels said he thanks Kevin Nash for giving him the rematch. And then but there was a problem. Shawn Michaels tells him that he doesn't need a bodyguard for it, and Psycho Sid he's gonna give him a night off. And then Monday Night Raw had to go to commercial break. And then what happened was this: Psycho Sid was Shawn Michaels was stabbed in the back following that night. And then with commercial break, and then Kevin Nash came out of the ring, came to aid Shawn Michaels, and Sid Justice ran out of the ring, and this had to make Shawn Michaels be back as a babyface. And for a couple of days, months later, Shawn Michaels and Diesel will become best friends again. A couple of months later. And as Raw ended. And let's see what else. Okay, on WCW Prime, they show highlights of matches hosted by Tony Schiavone and the American Dream Dusty Rhodes. So they show Alex Wright versus Roman Casanova, Dustin Rhodes versus James Earl Wright. In a video, Colonel Tom Parker bails Blacktop Bully out of jail. Blacktop Bully versus Kenny Kendall. Harlem Heat versus Mark Thorne, Kip Abbey. Bobby Eaton versus The Patriot. Video of Steve Regal and Bobby Eaton in London. And Stunning Steve Austin versus Tim Horner. Then on Sunday night, in the Sunday Night Heat pre-show counting down to WrestleMania 21, it aired. Let's see. Yeah, this was just countdown. They showed the countdown to Royal Rumble night to WrestleMania 21. And let's see. Then bam, WrestleMania 21 is live. It airs on pay-per-view WrestleMania 21. At a Crypto.com Arena in formerly known as the Staples Center, Los Angeles, California. 20,000 and 20,000. Hold on a second. Okay, 20,193 were in attendance at WrestleMania 421. The first opening of the show was Rey Mysterio defeating Eddie Guerrero, Edge defeating Chris Benoit and Chris Jericho and King and Shelton Benjamin in the first ever Money in the Bank match. Yeah, that's when it all started, Money in the Bank. Then they show a Piper's Pit segment between Stone Cold Steve Austin and Piper's Pit. I guess was Stone Cold Steve Austin and Carlito came to interrupt. Stone Cold gave him a stunner. Then Piper got a stunner from Austin. Then it shows with Eugene coming out in WrestleMania. Then Muhammad Hassan and Daivari attacked Eugene, and Hulk Hogan came to save his life. That was I don't know why Vince McMahon gave him that gimmick. It's a little insult to make fun of mentally disabled people. That was a terrible gimmick Vince McMahon gave him. Terrible.
This is like my second favorite WrestleMania moment ever.
Yeah, I think this man should be ashamed of giving them nicknames in the gimmick because that was he's trying to copy that movie Rain Man with Dustin Hoffman and Tom Cruise. Terrible. Yeah, Hulk Hogan came to save his life, and then The Undertaker defeated Randy Orton and he was 13-0. And Cowboy Bob Orton was helping him. His father, his Randy Orton was helping him. Yeah. And then next match, yeah, he was 13-0 at WrestleMania 21. Undertaker. Then we see this match that I wasn't happy about. Trish Stratus defeating Christy Hemme in WWE Women's match. You know, WWE, the worst thing they did was they buried, they shit on, they didn't do right with Christy Hemme. They Vince McMahon shitted on Christy Hemme. I know Trish really buried her. And they had, I mean, I don't know why they had Trish Stratus acting like an ass. And Vince McMahon really didn't care about Christy Hemme in that point. I mean, that's how she retired from wrestling, Christy Hemme. I don't know why in the world Vince McMahon didn't let her get Trish Stratus drop that title. Trish Stratus dropped that title to her, to Christy Hemme. I mean, because she act like a damn egomaniacal bitch. Then Kurt Angle defeated, and we see this next match, Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle in the versus Kurt Angle, and Kurt Angle defeated Shawn Michaels by submission. Then Akibone defeated the Big Show in sumo match, and both men had shake hands. And then John Cena, piece of shit, John Cena defeated John Basher Layfield to become the new WWE champion. And that's how it all started, the birth of the C Nation era. And now, 20 years later, we got him acting like an ass, John Cena. Then the main event, Triple H versus Batista for the World Heavyweight title. Ric Flair behind Batista, behind Triple H, and Batista becomes the new World Heavyweight champion. Yep, that was it's pretty good right there. And then in 2015, Impact Wrestling on that day, April the 3rd. Eric Young defeated Bobby Roode in a submission match. Gail Kim defeated Angelina Love. Magnus defeated Bram in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Kurt Angle versus Bobby Lashley retained in a TNA World Heavyweight Championship match. Yeah. And then a movie was released in theaters. In pop culture, a couple movies released in theaters on April the 3rd. Fast 7, which marked the last movie for last role for Paul Walker before his death. It's the seventh installment in Fast and the Furious films, starring Vin Diesel, Paul Walker, Dwayne the Rock, piece of shit, Rock Johnson, Michelle Rodriguez, Tyrese Gibson, Ludacris, Jordana Brewster, J.J. Mahansu, Kurt Russell, and Jason Statham. And a movie called Woman in Gold was released in theaters starring Helen Mirren, Ryan Reynolds, and Katie Holmes. And Elizabeth Governor has a supporting role in the movie. Now let's go to yesterday's April the 3rd. April the 4th, I'm sorry. Okay, yesterday was a birthday. Yesterday was a happy birthday to Tony Roy. It was a happy 55th birthday to Tony Roy, WWE jobber, I believe. And yesterday was a happy Tony Roy. Yeah, he was 55 yesterday. Yesterday was someone who I don't like. Chelsea Green. Someone who doesn't deserve that women's U.S. Championship title in the first place. And saying she doesn't call herself become herself a real maker. She's a Canadian. She turned 34 yesterday. Okay, let's see. We're trying to see what else. Trying to say. Trying to think what else. For yesterday. Good thing she didn't show. Glad she no showed last night. I really don't give a shit about Chelsea Green anyway. She had her ass has to celebrate her birthday with that that chubby Piper Niven. Let's see. Okay, on ECW Hardcore TV. Public Enemy. Yeah, it was April 4th, 1995. The Public Enemy. Rocco, Johnny Grunge defeated Pit Bulls 1 and 2, and Terry Funk and the Sandman defeat Shane Douglas and Cactus Jack. Then on Monday Night Raw, the night after WrestleMania 21, Triple H was in a bad mood. He's very pissed off. Losing to Batista at Batista. Yeah, Shelton Benjamin defeated Chris Jericho and Christian as triple threat, defending the WWE, defending the Intercontinental title. Chris Benoit defeated Edge, and then Edge becomes a sore loser and attacks Chris Benoit, and okay, why? Okay, it's like I was like, okay, why? Okay, Edge, why attack Chris Benoit? At least you won the Money in the Bank, became the first ever Money in the Bank winner. You in the ladder, you won the at least you won, you got the Money in the Bank briefcase. You came climb that ladder and grab that briefcase. And then Shawn Michaels gets disrespected by Muhammad Hassan and Daivari. And then we see a segment, Simon Dean segment with Maven, and Stone Cold Steve Austin comes out and on the segment and stuns Maven and Simon Dean on that set, not that day. And then Randy Orton comes out and wants to challenge Batista, and Batista defeats Randy Orton. And at the end of the show, Triple H came out. Triple H came out and applauded Batista because he's upset because he knows he wants that title back. Yeah, Christy Hemming wants a rematch from Trish Stratus, and that one which was a fluke. And I don't blame Christy Hemming for getting a rematch from Trish Stratus because it was a fluke. She really Christy really got buried there. And then the women's champion had other plans. Trish TKO Christy with a chick kick before the match even began. Then she had to do further damage to Leah's injured leg after tying into the ring. What a bitch. And that's it. That's my my review for last night. My little history and birthdays and everything, pop culture. Now I'm gonna close out something with a little bit of music, and I'm gonna close out the song with a melody of songs from a movie that Val Kilmer was in honor of tribute his passing. And all of you just heard my favorite actor. I'm gonna close out the show with a couple of songs in honor of his passing for Val Kilmer. From the Real Genius soundtrack, I'm Falling. Number One, and Everybody Wants to Rule the World. Then I'm gonna close out with the song called the movie Top Gun, Danger Zone. And I'm Falling from the Real Genius and a song by called Combat Angels, I think. And number one is sung by Chaz Jenkel. and Everybody Wants to Rule the World from the Real Genius soundtrack. It was sung by Tears for Fears, and the Danger Zone was sung by Danger Zone, sung by Kenny Loggins from the Top Gun soundtrack. And Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me, and I'm gonna close out with Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me, Kill Me by U2 from the Batman Forever soundtrack. Had Val Kilmer start in. Then A Kiss from a Rose by Seal from the soundtrack. Then I'm gonna close out the show with When You Believe, sung by Mariah Carey and the late Whitney Houston from The Prince of Egypt, where he played the voice of Moses. I'm gonna miss him. He was my favorite actor, in this tribute, this song, all this is all for him in honor of his memory. We always miss him with all his friends, his family, all the movies he did. I mean, it's definitely shocked me. I mean, I thought he was in better health now. And all the movies he did, Batman Forever, Top Gun, Top Secret, Top Gun, Real Genius, um, Batman Forever. Yeah, did I mention it? Yeah, I think I did. Heat, Tombstone, The Doors, where he played the portrayal of late Van Morrison, I believe, which he should have got an Oscar for. And he'll be missed dearly. So I'm gonna close out this show tonight in honor of his memory and the melody of songs, a melody of songs from the movies that Val Kilmer starred in. So hope all have a good night. And by the way, as a late chance, I like to dress up like Chubby Checker, sing like Lionel Richie, like to get in the hot tub, gonna be sweat, gonna be dry, gonna be wet. Referring to Eddie Murphy doing an impression of James Brown on Saturday Night Live. Back in the days, I never grew up in the 80s, I grew up in the 90s. But I saw the reruns of it in Comedy Central. So have a good night. And Val Kilmer, this is for you. Rest in peace.